This is Support is Sexy, episode 141. Having it all doesn't mean doing it all alone. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi everyone, happy Monday and welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. Thank you so much for being here because you know it just would not be the same without you. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that the title of the show is really our mantra for life, right? Support is sexy. And the intention behind it is to spread this idea of women supporting women to help us all move forward powerfully, because nothing is sexier than women supporting women. And together, at least I believe, we will change the world, because God knows there are some changes needed, and I believe women will lead the way. But what I want to focus on today, or in today's episode, is the tagline that goes along with Support is Sexy, which is having it all doesn't mean doing it all alone. How often do you forget this when it comes to receiving support for yourself, that you don't have to do it alone? This is a lesson that I talk about that I've learned after attending a personal development workshop in 2015 called Momentum. You guys know I love it. I talk about it all the time. And in this workshop, there were all of these great leaders and activists and accomplished people who had achieved much in life and who, on the surface at least, may have appeared to quote unquote have it all. But there were two things during that workshop that when pushed were so incredibly difficult for all of us to ask for. 1, love. 2, support. And when I say difficult, I mean shaking, ugly cry, terrified, resistant, all of that. When it came to those two things, it was difficult in different ways for all of us, or most of us, to ask for love and support. Now, it was during my time in this life-changing workshop that I realized how many blind spots I personally had around asking for, and not just asking for, accepting support, which is the big thing. And I have been giving support generously all throughout my life, as most of you have. We all are usually comfortable giving support in different ways to people, especially if you're a giver. It's your love language, giving, giving, giving. I have definitely given a lot of support, and by the grace of God, I have received a lot of support. But consciously and intentionally asking for it and accepting it, especially during during those times when I feel uncomfortable, good Lord, no. I'd rather struggle and figure it out on my own than do that. Most of you can probably relate to that. You'd rather struggle through it than ask someone. You might not even realize it, but you're struggling through it rather than saying, you know what, I need some help with this. I need to ask somebody for some support. And even though I now know better and practice doing better, I will say that I am still a work in progress. And I am working to really heal that part of me that is uneasy with asking for and accepting support, because that's what it really is. I need a healing around that. It's not that it's anything wrong. I just have a different way of understanding it. I've learned a different way of understanding it, have new tools in my toolbox. So I'm trying to put that into practice every single day. So on this episode, I wanted to share with you all ways for you to check in with yourself and see if you may have some blind spots around support. And I really want to challenge you to think about the important areas that this may be holding you back in your business or in your personal life. So what I did was I came up with 7 reasons that I believe some of us, and I will say, especially as women, entrepreneurs, moms, leaders, creatives, and so on, there's a long list of all the things that we're all doing. We often don't ask for and accept support. So as I said, I came up with 7 reasons that I think a lot of us don't ask for support. And now these are based on my own experience. So think about what the reasons might be for you and then make a different decision. I offer advice here on how to shift our thinking, but of course, this is just my advice. So I offer it to you. It's not me telling you what to do. So take it, please, as a generous offering. So number one, I will say asking for support has never been modeled for a lot of us. We've only learned how to give, give, give. And I will say this was the case for me growing up with two people I call the world's most generous parents. You know, I adore them. I talk about them all the time. I love them to death. And my parents would give everything to everyone in our family, not even just our immediate family, extended family, friends, everyone, whether that was food, shelter, refuge, forgiveness, whatever was needed, no matter how difficult it was for them personally, they were there to give. But what I rarely, if ever, remember seeing, and I'm talking about when I was younger, maybe 5, 6, or up until the age of 10 or so, what I rarely remember seeing my parents do is ask for or accept support. In fact, I often saw them turn it down. They were, as I said, and they are loving, generous givers. So it's difficult for them to shift to receive. Giving is all they know. You do what you can for family. That's just how it is. But for me, as an observant and I would say sensitive child, I associated receiving support with things like trauma or disruption or loss or weakness, because this was often the times when I saw my parents jump in for other people. You know, we all go through things. There was never any judgment around what people were going through, addiction or whatever it was. But it's just that I, whether subconsciously or not, associated support with, oh, support is what you give to people who are going through some kind of trauma. And I will say this has been the greatest mind shift for me, to choose to view support in another way, which is why I chose support as sexy instead, because when something is sexy, you want to try it on. So think about that. Don't have guilt around your feelings about support. It might just be learned behavior, even if you didn't realize it at the time. It may not have been modeled for you in that way. So it's just a matter of recognizing it, having a mind shift, and thinking about it differently. Number 2, we think that whether consciously or unconsciously, that asking for support makes us look vulnerable and weak. And hey, maybe in those moments we are weak or hurting or struggling and we need some support, but that's okay. Being vulnerable and transparent about the support you need doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger, even though that may be counterintuitive. It really makes you stronger because I believe it empowers you and opens you up to the resources available that you may never even have realized if you hadn't asked for support or left yourself open and vulnerable and said, this is what I'm looking for and what I need. What I say is think of it like being in water. Release the weight of shame and perhaps the guilt that holds you back while you're trying to be quote unquote strong or be the rock for everybody else. Well, being the rock pulls you to the bottom. Letting go of all of that allows you to float to the top, to rise above it, and to have people there to help you ride the wave. So that's how I want you to think about it. Allowing people to support you is letting you ride the wave. Number 3. This is a big one for me. We need to get over, quote unquote, I got it. I got it used to be my favorite 3 words. I always tell people that. I got it. It's okay. I got it. No, that's okay. I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. If you offered me support, even when I may have needed it, I got it was my reflex reaction. But you know what? A lot of times I didn't have it and I still don't. And support from those who love me and believe in me is just what I need to help me get over that. So before you say I got it or that's okay, the next time someone offers you support, pause for a minute, a moment, a second, and just check in with yourself. Am I just saying I got it or am I really considering what this person is offering me? And then as often as you can, let go, right? Let go of I got it. Number 4. This is another one. We're caught up in what others may think of us. We worry so much about people judging us, and we don't even know who these people are, but we worry that they might judge us for seeking support. And you know what? Maybe some of them will. But so what, right? Most of the time we worry about people judging us, people we don't even know, people we don't even care about, people whose criticism we will likely never, ever hear or encounter. I will tell you, the biggest critic is usually the one in our heads. That's the one that's hardest to face down. Other people most of the time have their own thing going on, don't even care about you. Or like I said, if they criticize, so what? That is not, it's not about them. You are focused on accomplishing whatever you need to accomplish for a bigger goal, a goal even bigger than yourself. So it's certainly bigger than these other critics. Now, that's what I want you to keep in mind for people that you don't even know. But I will say, if there are people who are close to you, who have negative energy, who criticize you rather than offer feedback and support for what you're doing, then you need to change your circle of influence. As they say, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So it's time to do the math. I will say another reason we worry about judgment is because deep down, we ourselves have judged others who have asked for support. Check in there and see if this is a reason for you. Have there been times when you've either seen, heard about, etc., someone asking for support and you made a judgment? That might be a trigger for you when you need to ask for support and you're thinking of how you or you might not even be conscious of it, but you're having those same kind of judgments about yourself that you've had of other people. So check in there and see if that's a reason for you. Number 5, and this one is a funny one. We think no one else can do it as well as we can, right? Need I say more? This is the reason we don't delegate as often as we could, or we play the martyr way more often than we should, because our ego tells us no one else can do it like I can, so it will never be right unless I and I alone handle it. First of all, relax. Second, get over yourself. Someone else may be able to do it better than you, or at least offer a new way you never even thought of. Even if you don't want to believe they can do it better, even though they probably can, especially if we're talking about you getting someone who has a specialty in this area that you're taking hours to do and the other person could do in 5 minutes. They might do it better, or at least offer a new way that you never thought of. Or even if they can do the task 80% as well as you can, you should delegate. You can always help them close that 20% gap as time goes on, if that's necessary, right? If we're talking about something like, I don't know, how the dishwasher is loaded, let that go. But if it's an important task or something in your work or in your business, help them close that gap. Keeping in mind, though, that it doesn't have to be you who helps close the gap. So maybe there's someone on your team or some kind of training the person can take, or books or resources, something else that can help them close that gap so you're not sucked back in. But something else may be able to help this person get the task to 90% or even 100% without you having to jump back in. The key here is the delegation, asking for and accepting support on things that just tie up your time, but may not be the best use of your time. These things limit you from moving forward and focusing on your gifts. So don't let your ego get in the way. Number 6, we get stuck in what support looks like or where we think it should come from. And I have been guilty of this, focusing on it should come from this person, or I imagine it's going to come in this form or whatever it is. Have you ever had those situations where you've been mulling over a problem or question forever, trying to figure something out, and then the answer is revealed to you in a place that you never suspected, or someone you may talk to in passing says something that sparks an idea that you never thought of? You never know where this will come from. Or you might have a question or something that you're trying to figure out, and it will come to you days, weeks, or months later. The same is true with support. Let go of what it looks like, whether that's how much it is, or where it'll come from, or who it'll come from, or how it'll reach you. You've asked the universe for support. Now be open to receiving it in many, many ways. And there's a quote I love from Patricia Moreno, who is the founder of Intensati. We did a great interview with her very early on. I'll make sure I have a link to that. But Patricia says, you have to live the question and the answers will be revealed to you. Live the question. I love that. You don't have the answer, but you have to live the question. And here's the thing, make it an empowered question. So this isn't a question like, why am I such an idiot? Or why can't I figure this thing out? Empowered questions are questions like, what's the missing piece here? How can I get the support around what I'm creating? How can I take this to the next level? Right? Those are empowered questions. Don't come from a place of weakness, come from a place of feeling empowered, and then you'll be able to see the answer when it shows up, again, in many different ways. Also, speaking of empowered, number 7, I will say is, we don't know how to make an empowered ask. So saying I need help or I need support is one way. Yes, certainly that's a start, a very early start. but making an empowered ask, meaning be clear about what you think you need at this time. Be clear about what your intended outcome is, and be clear about how you think the person or people or organization or resource may be able to help you. This allows people to get a clear sense of what you're working to achieve, and it helps them see where they may fit in. Now, even though what you need or how people fit in will evolve because we're not tied to what it looks like, right? Still have an empowered ask rather than a vague one. It's a stronger starting point, and it lets people see, oh, this is where I can jump in, or they can refer you to someone else who might be able to jump in and support you. So, as I said, those are my 7 reasons. There are plenty more that we could always go over later, but I did just have an idea and think about these reasons some of us have some blockage really around support. And this week, I challenge you to check in and see where not asking for support may be hindering you. And then I will say, take it a step even further. Push yourself to ask for and accept support around something that's important to you this week, whatever that is. A project, a to-do on your list, someplace you've been struggling, or someplace where you're already moving ahead and you could even use some support. Ask for support. That is your challenge for the week. Even when it may be uncomfortable at first. And you can always let me know at Elayne Fluker on social media. What is a challenge that you're going to ask for support around this week? Not in the future, a month from now, even 2 weeks from now. This week, whenever you're listening to this, where are you going to ask for support? But remember, not asking for support for yourself and all the magic that you're creating in this world, it isn't sexy. In fact, I think it's selfish because you're preventing yourself from being your best, which only limits your gift to the world. So I want you to check in with yourself and really be honest. Now, no beat up, as I said, no guilt. We don't allow beat ups around here. But go ahead and check in and think, in this moment, am I saying I got it because I really got it, or I just don't want to accept support? Am I being judgmental of myself because I've been judgmental of other people? Am I getting stuck because I'm stuck on what support looks like? Meanwhile, support is all around me and I'm not even paying attention. Check in and think about those things because you deserve support. It is there waiting for you. I guarantee you. So thank you as always for listening and for your support. You know that I appreciate you. And now I have an empowered ask of you. Today is the official launch day of the Support is Sexy crowdfunding campaign. Yay! I'm so excited. And I get to ask everyone for support that will help me continue to produce this 5-day-a-week podcast that I love called Support is Sexy, that celebrates and empowers women entrepreneurs around the world. More than 35,000 downloads so far. We're in 73 countries. But in order to keep this going, I really need your support to make this campaign successful. So I need you to go to supportissexylove.com right now. All together, that's supportissexylove.com right now to check out the incredible rewards that I have there and to make a donation. Now, any donation amount is appreciated and it will help me reach my goal of 20,000. I am asking for support and I am trusting that the universe will show up abundantly. In fact, abundance is my word for 2017. So I am trusting that it is there. And I know we can reach this goal together. So please go to supportissexylove.com now. $1, $10, $25, $100. Again, any amount is appreciated. You can donate any amount from that page. And the rewards that are there include things like a 30-minute podcasting how-to session with me, where you can ask me any questions about podcasting and receive an exclusive podcasting resource guide. So if you're thinking about launching your own podcast, or you have questions about a podcast you already have, or you're just curious about the behind the scenes of the Support is Sexy podcast, I just share. So go ahead and buy that reward and we can chat. Talk about all that good stuff. I can tell you the tools and equipment that I use. I will share all of that with you. Or let's chat about media. I've worked in media for 20 years. It's a long time at brands like Essence and Latina and Martha Stewart and Huffington Post. And I've appeared on the Today Show and CNN and Nightline and VH1 and other networks. And I have clients who pay me thousands of dollars for media coaching and media consulting for themselves and for their brands. But on the rewards, for $300, you get a 30-minute coaching call with me where you can ask me anything about media, but you can also get help creating your bio or your brand story, which is great if you're doing interviews or planning to do interviews or even just pitching yourself to other outlets, to have those things and those talking points in mind. And if you're someone who needs support conducting interviews, I can help you with that too, since I've been on both sides as a writer, editor, and a producer. So I have tips and insight for both. Another reward, if you're looking for some inspiration, maybe you just need a little inspiration day to day, you will love the Support is Sexy journal. If you're creating something sexy in this world, this journal will help you stay motivated, stay focused, and it includes words of inspiration from inspiring women entrepreneurs. You know, on this show alone, I've interviewed at least 100 women entrepreneurs. Such a blessing. And I actually have a spreadsheet, not even joking, of quotes that I felt empowered me from each of them. Some of them 2, 3, or 4 quotes, some of them just one. So in this journal, I include words of inspiration from these women, as well as some others that you can use to help you, again, stay motivated and stay focused day to day as you record your thoughts and you're creating something sexy. So as you can see, I'm excited and giddy about the campaign and the great range of awards that we're offering. So I really would just love for you guys to go to supportissexylove.com, donate and share with your friends, tell a friend, tweet. All the buttons are there. The campaign is on I Fund Women. So share, tweet, post, pin. If you really love it, be sure you really love it, and then go ahead and share. But again, any amount is so appreciated. I really appreciate you guys for your support in general on this journey. It has been amazing, and it's only going to get better. So thank you so much for listening. And remember, support is sexy, and having it all doesn't mean doing it all alone. And now you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.